Hi guys, welcome back to another P3D version 5 video. We are doing something a bit different. We are starting off a career mode with the A2A Lockheed Constellation, and we're going to be flying the Trans World Airline Lockheed Constellation from San Francisco all the way to LaGuardia. We are not going to fly that in one go. We're going to do a couple of flights through the US, and we'll keep career mode on whilst we do that. And I was inspired actually by looking at Flight Sim Dispatch, and I saw that Transworld Airlines did a lot of those kind of trans-USA flights. We're not going to follow one of the historical routes. They had a couple of airports that I don't really have anything nice substitution for, or maybe not substitution, but anything nice in terms of a payware option or a freeware one. So that's why I decided to substitute some airports and do something a bit different. So we're going to fly to Reno, from Reno to Salt Lake City, from Salt Lake City to Denver, from Denver I think to Kansas, and from Kansas to Kidde, which is I guess, is it Indiana or Ohio? Let me actually check. Daytona, which one is that? Or sorry, not Daytona. It's Dayton. Dayton is the name, and that's Ohio. Quite close though to Indiana and Indianapolis, but yeah, a bit further from that, and then from that one we'll do our final little jump to LaGuardia. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of flying. We're gonna use career mode, and you can see it here. We put it on. We're not gonna fly with GPS. We're doing old school. I find that to be a bit more fun. Nothing wrong, of course, with flying with GPS, but just a preference from my end. We do, I think you can, let me see. So you can set this yourself to be kind of exact what you need. I mean, we do have a SimBrief flight plan. But since I'm a bit rusty with this one, I'm wondering if, let's see what light gives us. So if we press light,
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? We are about to start boarding the aircraft, so please report to the
and now it's in the gallons, which, let me see, if we switch it to metric, okay, then it's in liters. I think we can do a medium.
Captain, Jimmy Stewart just came on the plane.
Who's Jimmy Stewart? My, let me check some old movie start. Yeah, Jimmy Stewart. Look at that. An American actor and military aviator that passed away in 1997. A long time ago. And let me see, gallons to pounds, because that's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so if we have about, what is it, 1,600 gallons, and it's this jet fuel, maybe gasoline. Okay, it's about 10,000 almost. Well, that's good. That's a bit above what we need. So let's go with that. We can close this. But as you can see, it's a very pretty aircraft. The only thing I actually lack is kind of that it doesn't have the A2A rain effects, which I find a bit weird. But apart from that, it does work pretty well. Okay, you can do fast load or real-time load. And actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna restart it just so I can put everything correct. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so we won't have Jimmy Stewart probably. I'm gonna redo that. But before I wanted to start that, I just wanted to show you kind of the aircraft because it's a very pretty one, a very pretty bird. I think the tail section is one of the more famous things with it, and I guess kind of its sleek design. It's yeah, it's a very good looking bird. And we also have the retro AI on, so we have a nice Western DC 4, DC6, DC7, DC6, sorry, there we can see, DC6B. They all look a bit alike, some differences. I think the DC4 is a bit less, or it's not as long as the DC6 if I'm not mistaken. Or the DC6 is longer than DC4, I guess you should phrase it as, since it came later. But yeah, this is the transferred airline, Star of Tripoli. I like this livery because it's kind of all metal, so it looks very good. And let's just check that we have some nice viewpoints. We have a couple. Nothing too great though, and they are all with the transition effects, which I am not a fan of, so we're gonna remove that. It works okay on the inside, but on the outside it kind of goes through the fuselage, and I find it a bit immersion breaking. I'll also need to fix some of these viewpoints because they don't look good from my end. They look good from the middle screen that I have, but and then of course for the recording, but doesn't look too good from other perspectives. And let's see, I think we had some engine views that also kind of cut into the fuselage. These ones. Let's put it like that instead. Not perfect, but better than nothing. Okay, that should be okay. We can maybe use this outside view for the boarding if you want to check anything. We're not going to use anything Pack X or similar, not even GSX. I think the career mode is good enough with this bird as is. So we'll use that. And then we will of course use Pilot to ADC. I can show you also the flight plan itself, how it looks. So it's not a long flight. 47 nautical miles to our top of climb. And it's 92 to our first, or to our second. We have the Oakland VR first, but then we have the second one. And then it's 70 nautical miles. So it's a pretty good first flight. It's going to be a bit longer to Salt Lake City. And then from Salt Lake, kind of same to Denver. And then the Denver one all the way to Kansas, probably going to be one of the longer ones. And then from Kansas all the way to KD is also going to be a bit longer. And then KD to LaGuardia is also going to be, well, kind of same length. Pretty good. But yeah, let me remove that. I'm just gonna keep it so we can put in the right data. But yeah, let's get started then. Career mode is on. We are and we actually have a different load, so that might let me check what the load is supposed to be at. So I think light fuel, that's perfect. But then in terms of weight, we should be at 65 for zero fuel. I think we can do maybe light, medium maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? Please report to the gate as boarding is about to begin.
Yeah, okay, that's gonna be good. And we're gonna try to do I think the roles of all the people in the cockpit, just because it's more fun that way. I'll turn the battery switch on. Radio switch. I'm not sure about the weather though. Let's see. It's 9 degrees, so we might actually wanna put the master on and maybe a bit of a heater. We do want to open the cowl flaps to fully open. I think we can shut them a bit on takeoff, right? Or I guess once we're taxiing to about 50%. So we'll open those fully. Oh, and look at that. This must be a bit of a more modern, because I think it goes all the way to like the 80s. This classic one. So yeah, maybe a bit too modern, but that's fine. Unfortunately, not one of those nicer 747-200s. That would have been cool to see. Okay, but everything is being loaded. We don't seem to have Jimmy Stewart on board, so for better or worse. I think the pass light we can have on. Here we would have the GPS if we did use that. We're not. Since I guess we're putting on fuel, we can have the no smoking sign on. And then, let me see what else. Well, we're not starting anything just yet. We can instead prepare a bit for the VR. Since the first one we're gonna go to is Oakland. And that's gonna be a 1168-42. So what we wanna check is, can we set 42 should be our omni bearing. And then it was 1162, right? 1168, sorry, 1168.
Everyone is in and the doors are secure.
Well, isn't that jolly? Where is the radio thing? This is gonna be interesting. Could it be the navigator maybe that controls that?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard.
Or is it up here? I guess we have the ADF here.
I'm just going over some safety and emergency procedures. You'll find emergency landing instructions in the back of the seat in front of you.
And we can hide that so it's not in our way.
Strap through the buckle and pull until secure.
Let me see if I can.
Please keep your seatbelt fastened until the captain has turned off the
I'm
seatbelt.
gonna just switch to it quickly.
Smoking is only permitted when the no smoking sign is off. Please stay in your seats unless you need to use the restroom. If you need assistance,
Because we have nav 1, but where's the...
in the event of
I just want to know where it is located, right? So we can...
to put it on, place it over your head
let me see, VR.
and pull it tight. In case we need to exit the airplane,
Here, VR selector.
it's located throughout the cabin. We're all
So that's 14.
welcome aboard the Queen of the Sky.
Where's the radio? Let me check. I'm looking through the manual to see if we have any input. Potentially it's actually not located here. It could be the shift 6.
Captain has put the non-smoking sign up.
Here we can see.
Smoking until the no smoking sign is off.
It was, but I'm hearing something, so I'm wondering if there's, or maybe it's just a sound. Okay, let me see. Now my mouse managed to. Yeah, we don't want to have autopilot on. Let me see. Magnetic heading 104. That must be the one we have our. Okay, but here we can at least see our nav, so we know if we have selected it correctly. Now the question is, though, can we find it anywhere else? And I must say, I really hate the fact that my mouse is, you have to connect it. I had a battery one that I bought. I thought it was the same one, but this one was apparently a... Here maybe it is. Let me see. No, this is not it. This is that 10... wire. I wonder if this is for talking with ATC, maybe. But okay, it's supposed to be somewhere. We can at least kind of imagine that it's here. I mean, there's a VR button, right? So there's somewhere where we're inserting the right inputs. Here, sorry, here they are. Finally, we found it. Just took a bit of time. So here we have our radios, and there we have our TCAS, or maybe not TCAS, but transponder system at least. Okay, I think they're still boarding. I'm gonna check if we have... Okay, we're a bit heavier. Not sure if that's good, but we have a bit more fuel than we were planning anyway. A bit over 10,000, so should be fine. Shouldn't be the end of the world at least. And I'm just gonna check quickly outside. Doesn't seem to be any movement or similar. Cabin is cold. I think we can connect the GPU. That's gonna help. Hopefully at least with the cabin. And then I'm wondering if there's anything else we need to check our barometer or barometric pressure, or the altimeter. 3011. 3011, we set it here, and I think in the back as well. Da, da, da. I do wonder if the ground blower is gonna help, or if that's only to make it cooler. Cabin altitude. Just quickly gonna check here if there's anything specific we need to keep in mind. Not that I can see. I have the carburetor shut off, they're open. And then yeah, there's some buttons that aren't kind of animated, so for better or worse. And let me see, we have these, right? The servo speeds. I need to remember to put these on as the servos. When we use the autopilot, I think we also here have the brake selector, so we can switch between, you need to load up the emergency one. And let's see what else. Here we can choose here the RME, the pointer. This one is gonna be the RMI, right? We can also see here, I'm gonna, or at least I envision that we'll be able to see the VR track. Anything up here? We don't have any kind of water system, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's not like with the Stratocruiser where you have the, what's it called, the kind of water injection for the takeoff, right? To give a bit of extra boost. So nothing like that. There's a bunch of things we should check or should test, but we're gonna skip that just for timing reasons. And I'm just gonna check quickly how our boarding, is it ready, or can you see somewhere? The engines have passed, 28 passengers loaded. No systems to watch. So let's hope nothing goes wrong, right? We're gonna fly this as a career mode, right? So if something goes wrong, we're gonna have to find like a place to land. I'll try to follow the power settings that they suggest. I'm gonna move these ones away. It's easier for me if they're on the left screen, to be honest. Same with this one. So everything is loaded. We have the map. We have this in case we would fly over water. We can use the weather ships. Everything is overhauled. Shift 8 was nothing. Shift 9 is just my career. And the personal note is I want to be a better pilot. And we're doing the 50s area. I show you here. You can switch here, but let's do the 1950s. That's the area we wanna immerse ourselves in. But okay, so everything is ready. And I think what we can then do is, let's hope my mouse will last a bit longer now, since I've loaded it. But I think we can get started. Yeah, let's put the fasten seat belt. We'll we want the windshield heater, so that we don't get it all fogged up. And there we have a beautiful... Is that a... What's that, a DC-4 maybe? It seems like we're mainly having DCs. No, I was thinking if it maybe was one of those... what are they called? One of those turboprops, the Electras, right? But possibly not. Before we get everything started, let's actually get the pilot to ADC set up. We'll change from to a piston airliner. Yeah, this is fine. We're flying Trans World Airways. Oh no, maybe like this. So far, not having too much success with finding... I was certain they would have it. Pretty certain I've flown it before. Trans World. But you can see it's a lot of different ones included. I actually like this a lot from compared to version 2. Seems like Trans World Express is the closest thing we have. Maybe we can use that one. It's only for the call sign, right? Might be different, of course, so that's a bit of a bummer, but okay, Trans World Express, Redbird. Okay, let's call ourselves Redbird. That will do. Let's see what our cruising altitude is. 17,000. The only thing I'm worried about is the superchargers, but I think I know how to use them, so we'll see how that goes. Here we have the same waypoints. We can just double check that it looks similar. It's a very straight route, so that's nice. The one thing we'll have to change is go to US. I will also change the fact that they won't assign any SIDS or stars. We don't have the capability to fly those. So we'll validate and file, and then we're gonna connect to the sim. We're taking off from runway 28 left. And that's actually an interesting thing with San Francisco. I just read that they have stopped the parallel landings, at least in certain cases. So it's a bit more stricter now.
Miles. Skies clear.
I guess from a safety
Temperature
perspective.
9. Dew point 4. Current altimeter is 3011.
Here we are parked.
Arriving and departing runway 28 right, 28 left.
Fly over this VR first.
San Francisco.
Switch to the clearance delivery. I'm gonna move this to my left screen. Let's see if I can talk to them. Redbird 4003, ready to copy, IFR clearance. Do I have the wrong, maybe? Oh yeah, I can see now. I know. Redbird 4003, ready to copy, IFR clearance.
Redbird 4003 is cleared to Kilo Romeo November Oscar as filed. Expect departure runway 28 left.
6,000
Climb
feet.
and maintain 6,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure.
What's our
Norcal departure
code?
on 135.1. Squawk 3606.
36.
Redbird 4003 is cleared to Kilo Romeo November Oscar as filed. Climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Expect higher
Stand by.
clearances 2 minutes after departure.
I'm not sure if we have to
Local
call
departure on
anything out.
135.1.
I don't think so.
Squawk 3606.
I think we can start with the GPU. I think you can start on battery as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Redbird
but,
4003
we'll go
read
with
back
this.
correct. Altimeter 3011. Contact San Francisco ground on 119.22. When ready for pushback, have a
Just
good
gonna
one.
check if there's anything we need to call
Altimeter
out. I don't think
3011.
so.
Ground on 119.22. Redbird 4003.
We can put the beacon lights on. And let's make sure we have everything that we need. Auxiliary fuel pumps. I'm gonna see like what you have: auto rich and cruise lean. Okay, so that's the ones we have. And then we have the superchargers. You can have them low or high. We're gonna keep them low for now. And once we're in cruise, we'll do cruise lean and superchargers on. I think that should be it actually. Let's though put in the right altimeter here in the front as well. 311, right? Do we have to do it on all of them, or are they aligned? Not aligned. 311. Redbird 4003. Ready for pushback and engine start.
Redbird 4003 pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback
and engine start
You
approved.
can open the windows if I'm
Redbird
not mistaken.
4003.
It's pretty nice though, in the sense that you can like actually listen to your engines. Quite a lot is actually shown from the interior. I'm wondering if it's the same model or... Now there's probably some difference. But yeah, let's keep that open. Let's try to remember also that we need to close them. But we'll keep them open for now when we're starting the engines. And we're gonna start all 4 of them. In terms of actual fuel management, I don't think there's a lot to do with this bird. It's I mean, I haven't seen any, you know, switching of tanks or similar, so I think it's just kind of draining it all. It's not like with the Stratocruiser, right, where you... I mean, we have the crossfeed levers here, so I'm gonna check that if there's anything we need to do. Maybe good to check it now. Let me see, cross. Take off land with each system operating independently. Shut-off valves on. Interesting. There's some rules on how to do it, but I mean, it's very short. Let me see here.
452, no, you can stay with me. We don't have anything new for you yet. Very good.
I mean, we won't have to change. We're flying with such a low amount of fuel, so we will be fine. 3421.
Ground, with warning JetBlue 2075.
Starter switch to direct. I'm trying to see.
We are on spot 11. JetBlue 2035 ground. We are
Okay, I know
right
now how.
On your destination and route of flight. Your clearance, you got a squawk of 1546.
Okay, I think I know how we should start this. We can keep this off, because we could flood the engine in a worst case scenario.
Yeah, no, the squawk that looks like they read to you was it
These are on auto.
1546?
And we'll start the number 3 one first. You want to start with the inertia first.
527 left, eventually for departure.
Prime.
Foxtrot, hold short of 27 right.
And then we want to, actually before we engage, we want to add a bit of thrust. definitely not getting that one started now. So question is if we did something wrong. I'm actually gonna do it like I've done in other times. We're gonna start the fourth one first. Usually I always did the primer first, then the inertia. Now let's see, do we have enough? Okay. We're gonna put that into auto rich.
Maple 7609, your pushback is perfect.
I can see from the outside that it started smoking. That's good. Is it dying on us?
Delta's 1960.
Ah, there we go.
Ready over there?
1960, we'll be ready.
Okay, that's good.
Cross 4 and Juliet, monitor tower.
Cross 4, then on Juliet, monitor tower, 1960 Delta.
They might jump a bit back and forth. Let's do the number 1 engine. We'll prime it first. Inertia, and then we'll engage. There we go. Maybe it's warm enough so we don't... Yeah, it's looking good.
Southwest 2152, runway
We'll
1.
add the fuel. Put this into auto rich. Can stop using the primer. We're having it selected. We'll do the second engine.
JetBlue 254,
Prime.
taxi is off.
JetBlue 254, runway 1 via Juliet, hold short.
Inertia.
Taxi runway 1 via Juliet, short of runway 4, JetBlue 254.
Engage. There we go. All pressure coming up.
Morning ground, United 551.
We'll add the fuel.
16, ready to push hotel.
United 551, push approved, tail north on
Auto
kilo.
rich on
Tail
them.
north
Yeah.
kilo, United 551.
And now let's try the third one. See if we can manage that. Primer. Inertia. Engage. There we go. I think when you taxied this one, you maybe didn't use all 4 engines. I think you used either the inboard ones or outboard ones. Okay, the ground blower we don't need. You can see the engine is, so this one is definitely gonna shut. Let's see if we can. Yeah, okay, it's coming up, back up. I'm gonna add a bit more pressure. Shut the primer. And that's for the GPU to be removed. That removed a bit of sound. Oh, sorry, I forgot to have the... That's why the sounds were so low. I had it muted. Sorry about that, guys. So now we can hear the engines roaring. We'll close the windows. I wonder also why everything was so silent, but maybe good in the sense that you could hear me yapping. All the generators should go to on. We can check the voltages on them. Looks fine. Don't think we need to tweak anything with the rest. Fuel pressure.
American 1178 watch. Will you be ready on the other side?
Let me check also if we need to use the auxiliary pumps. Auxiliary. They are used during takeoff, landings, and other times. Yeah. So we will not need them once we have taken off. We'll shut them.
It's 7609 taxi.
shut them for the time being. Let me see, where did I put my...
Kilo Charlie, short of 4 minutes.
There we go, we'll put the chase plane. And let's have a look. Oil pressure is looking fine, maybe a bit high on the third one. Yeah, look at that. Oh, and now, not sure what's going on. That's annoying. Sometimes I don't get some of these things. Typical, you know, sim behavior. Why is it moving? I haven't asked for it to move. Okay, I think we managed to stop it. Ah, Jesus. Not sure why it gets stuck like that from time to time, but oh well. Rear pumps. I think it's stabilizing a bit now. Should be fine, in other words. Let's check the RPM. I think it's at max. Nothing we need to change. We'll put the nose lights on. I'll put the pitot as well. And then let's see if there's anything else we need to do. I don't think so. We need to, of course, do the emergency fuel. I'm gonna hide this one as well to give us a bit of a better view. We need to put in the flaps though to take off, so we don't forget that. The elevator, we can add a bit of trim. Not sure if that's the norm though. Some of these older ones do pretty fine without any trim. The only thing we'll need to check immediately is so I remember that after we've gotten over or flown over Oakland, we need to turn to a 33. Course of 33 to 115.50. I'm gonna put that down on my other screen. In terms of weather, let me just have a quick look what it's saying. It looks like it's gonna be fine, so we shouldn't have any problem. I think we can turn left here. Let me just think quickly if there's anything I'm forgetting, but I don't think so. We should be fine. Redbird 4003, ready to taxi. When I was starting the engines, I should have actually used these fire extinguishers to put it on, because you want to, you know, in case there's a fire, you want to be able to put it out.
4003 runway 28 left, taxi via taxiways Victor, Echo, Charlie,
28 left.
hold short runways 19er right, 19er left,
Okay,
28 right,
it's a fairly
28 left,
reasonable taxi route, I
Runway
would say.
28 left. Taxi via taxiways.
And we have nose wheel steering, so that's nice.
Charlie, hold short runways 19er right, 19er left, 28
see if
right,
we can
28
get-
left Redbird 4003.
Actually, it might be a bit hard to turn. we might have to use. Yeah, we'll have to use Ultimate Ground Crew. They'll help us. So I'll be a bit quiet when we talk with them. Come on, guys.
Brickyard 5972, cross 4, monitor tower, good morning.
Cross 4, 1 to tower.
Ground to flight deck.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Communication check, please, and confirm that the brakes are set.
Communications are okay and the brakes are set. I think it's also
Thanks.
good. I guess reset it. Maybe that's good though. Then we don't need to worry about talking at least. We are ready for pushback and engine start. I think it's the tail. So we want the tail to go left.
Roger, facing northeast. Release brakes.
Okay, release the brakes. Do please push us.
Pushing
Parking
back.
brakes released. There we go.
Located here at the old terminal, like to reposition under show 21. Alright, Delta Maintenance.
Cabin is cold.
Delta Maintenance 5, copy that. Alright, sir.
Do you need the cooler to be on for that to maybe cabin cooling system? Oh, that's the body heater, so maybe that's why. So the ground blower, but then we need the cabin cooler. Okay. So maybe the cooler has both effects. And I'm just quickly gonna pause here, so 1 second. Okay guys, there we go. Had to pause quickly. Help the wife with some things, but we're back. And yeah, we just got clearance to start everything, but yeah, everything is already started, so nothing further to do in that respect. And just to remind myself, I guess what we'll need to do is get the emergency brake pressure up. Need to keep somewhat a look at our gauges. We'll need to put the auxiliary pump on before takeoff, the right lights. Where are they pushing us now? Are they... Did I put the wrong? Maybe I should have put it to right. I always figured it was based on the tail. So if it said left, then the tail would be pushed left, but yeah, this is gonna work fine, I think, even if they stop us here, because we can do a right turn. Unless they're pushing us all the way back. And look at that United DC-6. God, some of these old planes, they're just really beautiful, I must say. Can't complain, can't complain. Oh well, I think everything else is okay. What's up here then? This is shut-off valves for the fuel dump. Okay.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Okay, and we can set parking brakes, and we can kill operations. We don't want them hanging around. It always takes a bit of time. And since this one has already been going on for 40 minutes and we're not even up in the air, we need to hasten things up a bit, or fasten things up. Or hasten, yeah. Make things go faster, I guess. Is another way to say that. Let me see. Yeah, I guess fasten things up means pulling things together, right? In a way. Or fastening them, I guess. But yeah, enough chit-chatting. I think we have all the lights we need. We can turn to the right and get going. Or at least hopefully we can. Let's see. I am gonna... That was just me plugging out my mouse. Let me see if we can get that emergency brake. I guess it's the hydraulics, right? Or the brake pressure. You can see this one is decreasing now. I'm gonna throttle down a tiny bit. And I think we want to get this into the green band. Or at least ish. Yeah, it's starting to look pretty good now. So I think what we can do is... That's elevator boost. We can select the normal brakes. Well, at least we now have emergency brake pressure in case it would be needed. And yeah, flaps are down. We have tried at least to speed things up. Look at that nice boat in the background. Everything is fastened in terms of seat belts at least. And we are taxiing to the runway. Anything I'm forgetting? Not that I can think of right now. Gonna brake, 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 and then turn. And the key with turning is that you can't do too kind of a oh, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, too tight of a turn. The turn radius is not that tight. So it only turns in there's some specific degrees.
Redbird 4003 cross runway 19er right.
Cleared to cross runway 19er right. Redbird 4003.
As we're crossing the runways, we'll put on the landing lights and the strobe lights. I don't think anyone is landing here, but just to be on the safe side of things. Oh yeah, what was the next one? We were supposed to turn...
Redbird 4003 cross runway 19er left.
19er left.
Cleared to cross runway 19er left.
It's all looking clear.
Redbird 4003.
But yeah, we were supposed to be traveling towards... Let me see. HNW Hangtown, sorry, not Hangtown, Hangtown Placerville. So that's gonna be our next one after the Oakland VR, and that's gonna be 33 degrees, 1155. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, gonna throttle down a tiny bit. It does pick up speed relatively quickly, this bird. I mean, we're not that heavy. So I guess that's also one of the main reasons. You can see here when we're braking that it does change the pressure, right? So you can't brake too much. You gotta be a bit cautious. Let's put it that way. Okay, 28 right. No, we're supposed to hold at 28 right. We're taking off 28 left, but that's fine. So let's see if we get the clearance to
Redbird 4003 cross runway 28 right.
28 right.
Cleared to cross runway 28 right. Redbird 4003.
And then 28 left. Let's get that auxiliary fuel pumps on. The lights we never turn back off, so we can keep as is. You can check that the windshield wipers work. Unfortunately no rain effect animated, which I don't understand why, but oh well. Damn shame nevertheless.
Redbird 4003 contact San Francisco Tower on 120.5.
And we're gonna put the parking brakes into place because we might have to hold for this DC-6, I'm gonna assume. Redbird 4003 ready for takeoff.
Redbird 4003 hold short runway 28 left, traffic on final.
Okay, we have traffic on final, so
Hold
that makes
short
sense.
runway 28 left.
Trim is set.
Redbird 4003.
We'll put on our transponder. I don't think there's nothing else, right? We need to do. Do you need to load up the servos? Trying to think, was there anything like that? I hope not. Which aircraft would that have been? Maybe it's the Stratocruiser where you have to... I don't think this one has anything like that, right? Because we have autopilot oil pressure, yeah, that looks fine. So we should be okay.
Redbird 4003 runway 28 left, line up and wait.
It landed, so
Line
we
up
can
and wait runway 28 left.
line up and wait.
Redbird 4003.
Redbird 4003 you were garbled. Please say again.
Delta 1335, turn left heading
Garbled
210,
beware.
wind 330 at 3, runway 24
Hydraulic
left, clear for takeoff.
pumps.
Heading 210,
I guess if they're
left, clear for
lit
takeoff,
up,
Delta
it means
1335.
something. Okay, let's see. We'll line up and wait. Ooh, and look at the our right, our left. Sorry, not right. I'm gonna put in the parking brake. That's a 707 Pan America. Not the best model, but still pretty a beauty. A beauty. Okay, let's see if we can get. Once they leave the runway, usually Pilot 280C recognizes that. Hopefully the AI doesn't crash into us. Can it wait? And here you can kind of see, you know, the future versus the old. Piston.
Redbird 4003 winds are 266 at 3 knots. Runway 28 left cleared for takeoff. Squawk 3606 maintain runway heading until above 1000 feet, then turn right to heading 070 right. To intercept course.
070.
Runway 28 left cleared for takeoff. Squawking 3606 maintain runway heading until above 1000 feet, then right to 070. Redbird
Let me see, actually, this one is
4003.
recommending 040 for the Oakland in terms of the course. So I'm gonna put 040 in. Or actually, that's the one we're supposed to be tracking, right? So maybe not completely the same, but let me just double check actually what our Simbrief flight plan tells us.
Sheriff 7, cleared enter Bravo space as requested, squawk 0275.
Or I guess I took it from little nav map, right? So that might be the reason for the difference. Let's follow Pilot 280C since we want the ATC to agree with us. 040. We'll keep little nav map open though anyway.
Contact departure. Departure today Southwest 1196.
Okay, we are ready to go. I hope at least. Let me double check. Yeah, that one hasn't done anything to. Oh yeah, look at that. That was one was crossing the runway. Sometimes the AI aircraft kind of ignore you and they just drive into you. Luckily the 707 did not do that. Okay. We are gonna push this bird a bit. Don't think we need to go any higher on the rotate. There we go. Very smooth. Gonna trim a bit. Getting them a landing gear up. Look at this beauty. It looks very nice. That's a bit annoying sometimes with these classic ones. They get this weird effect. Okay, we're going flaps up. Gonna bring back the manifold a bit. We're supposed to turn to 070. We wanna continue. I'm gonna bring down the RPMs a bit so we don't overstress the engines. Let me check what their suggestion is. Climb 32 manifold, 2300 for the RPMs. That's 24. There we go. And we can trim down a bit. We're already above 1000, so we should have started turning.
Redbird 4003, contact local departure on 120.9.
Departure on 120.9, Redbird 4003.
Okay, let's see if we can maintain a
Redbird
somewhat
4.
stable.
Frequency is 126.3. Turn right to heading 070 vectors
Somewhat
to the
stable
Nave
aircraft.
approach for runway tree
Let's
5
get
right.
this for the thumbnail though.
Approach
This went pretty
Redbird
nice.
4003, climbing to 11,000 feet.
11,000
Redbird
feet.
4003, good morning.
We should have the VR set, 116. And we see it here, we can see the course. I guess this ILS one will be the best example. Or this one is going to give us the localizer.
2576, descend and maintain 5,000, then reduce speed to 170.
Okay, let's see, we'll be stopping our turn a bit. Almost at 060.
Redbird 4003, turn to heading 070.
Yeah, 070.
Turn to heading 070 Redbird
gonna trim down our
4003.
plane a bit. There we can see the 707 taking off. A lot of smoke. Okay, we're gonna turn a bit to the left.
240, intercept the localizer, descend and maintain 2,100.
So, like the ATC just said, or the recording of ATC, intercept the localizer. Or I guess, I don't know, is it called localizer with VR? I guess so. Yeah. Let's trim it out a bit more. Need to also clean my glasses with. Can't really see anything. Let's trim up. We're going a bit off. Bit off.
May 35, turn left heading 340.
There we go. Now hopefully I should be able to see a bit more. Yeah, a bit more clearly. Okay, 6. We want to do 7. That's the biggest issue with having glasses, is that you get, yeah, they do get dirty. Let's see, 6, 7. We should turn a bit more to the right. You can see the localizer coming here, so we're pretty close to it now. I think we can start turning in towards it. Should be fine, nevertheless. We're about 5.7 nautical miles. I think we can already start readying up for the next waypoint, which is gonna be a 3-6 course at 115. Not seeing anything though pop up on our
Redbird 4003, expedite, turn to heading 070.
Turn to heading 070 Redbird.
It's only 40 nautical mile
4003.
range though, so I think the key, what we'll need to do is keep 3-6 and we'll keep 1168 and we'll fly outbound. Okay, let's check. We're going up to 17,000, right? That was the, yeah. Okay, we're on the right course.
Redbird 4003, turn to heading
Here we have
070.
Oakland.
Turn to heading 070
Freeware airport,
Redbird
that looks pretty okay.
4003.
Not sure why they want us to turn so much, because we are already on the right nav. Let me see, did they say anything?
JetBlue 2560, turn left heading 350, descend and maintain 3,000.
Yeah, I can't see why. It's just saying that, you know, they want us to go for the vectors to the RNAV. Did I fail that? Because I don't have that possibility. Maybe I forgot to put that into my... No, I don't have RNAV. Why would
Redbird
they give us...
4003, expedite, turn to heading 070.
Turn to heading 070 Redbird 4003.
Let me check. What's the cruise? 129 manifold.
Good morning. Expect runway 27
We
right.
can increase a bit here to get to 32 for the climb. The 9 manifold, 2200 RPMs, 140 psi out of Liam once we're in cruise. But I think it's around 13,000 when you want to kind of switch. And now you can see we flew over the VOR.
Redbird 4003 turn to heading 070.
Let's
Turn to heading
continue
070
outbound.
Redbird 4003.
Can you switch to or from? Is that something you would need to switch? I'm not sure why they're harassing us with this 070. Let's turn off actually these landing lights. I think the nose light as well actually. Can we see any input from our co-pilots anywhere? Doesn't look like it. We have career on, so maybe you get to see it kind of afterwards, right? Or maybe I forgot something with the settings. Could be, right? It's not impossible. Okay, we're flying away now from the VOR. Now my question is just, are we...
835, contact tower, 118.5.
Maybe we're a bit off. So I would want to see the outbound course and get onto that. We can trim a bit more.
2576, the airport's currently about
Oh,
11
one
o'clock
thing we
and
totally
13 miles
forgot
2576 is cleared visual approach
is
runway
the coal
27
flaps.
right, maintain 170
We can
knots,
close
5 miles.
those at least halfway. Hopefully it should be fine, but yeah, let's see.
Piedmont 6088, flighting 030.
Anything with pressurization we need to do? I don't think so. I think we should be fine for now. Gonna trim a bit more. Do we want to use the autopilot? Would make our lives a bit easier, but we can, I think, hand fly
Redbird
for now.
4003 expedite turn to heading 070.
Why
Turn to
this
heading
turn
070
to
Redbird
070? Is it because
4003.
they have some fetish with my approach starting already? Makes no sense. We're way too far. We're still 160 nautical miles. Yeah, from the airport. And this makes no sense.
Airwings 1008, descend and maintain 6000. Airwings 1008.
I guess we can do the vectors to our now approach because we can fly that as an ILS. At least that's my hope. But yeah,
Redbird
let's see.
4003 turn to heading 070.
Turn to heading 070 Redbird 4003.
But we did turn to 070. We can't maintain that heading for forever. And we have intercepted the course. I'll show you guys just so you believe me. So that doesn't make any sense. I think we might have to cut pallet to ADC loose. Let's do a radio check maybe.
Approach, Redbird 4003 radio check.
Let's trim a bit more.
Redbird 4003 you are allowed
And the
and
manifold
clear.
pressure is decreasing as
Roger,
we increase in
thank you.
altitude. So I guess
Redbird
the air pressure
4003.
decreases. Yeah, let's trim a bit
Redbird
more.
4003 expedite turn to heading 070.
Doesn't
Turn
seem
to
like we
heading
can fly
070
an
Redbird
outbound
4003.
path. Or I mean, we can fly one, but it's not not showing exactly right. It's not here showing the localizer. Okay, we're soon at 10,000 feet. How's our pressurization looking? I would assume it's handled here. Cabin altitude. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we need to get some pressurization going here. Maybe we can do 280. Yeah, we need to climb with that cabin a bit.
That's 68, cleared visual approach 27 right, 170 out, 5 out, call the tower on 18.5.
Yeah, because we're a bit behind now.
Cleared visual approach 27 right, call the tower,
Not
18.5.
good. Let's see if we can actually hold maybe for a while, whilst we get that
Redbird
pressurization.
4003 turn to heading 070.
If we turn all of that
Turn
on,
to heading 070 Redbird 4003.
oh, and let me try to get this to turn back.
Guard 4818, descend to maintain 6,000. 4818, turn 10 degrees right, vector speed approach, descend to 3,000.
Okay, I think we should get it working now. Let's have a look. We don't wanna climb too quick.
Redbird 4003.
I'm gonna close by to this. It's not working, unfortunately, guys. We were not in luck today. The thing I'm wondering is how we're gonna make it, or I guess we can fly to the next waypoint and then we'll just imagine that we are that we're being vectored in, I guess. Okay, let's see. Now this is working. Let me see if we do 30. If we do 30 on this, it's not showing. Oh yeah, because I managed to mess it up a bit. I should have aligned them, right? Let's see if I do it like this. Is it gonna... Because we want to fly 3-0 here. So let's see if we can get it aligned. Come on. Okay, now it's looking pretty reasonable, I would say. Let me have a look at the pressurization though, because I seem to totally have forgotten that. The cabin altitude is increasing. Let's put the goal to 5,000 feet. I think that should be fine. Can we push it a bit more? 300 feet per minute maybe? So we hopefully avoid crying babies though. Okay, let's have a look now. Now it's 3 and 3 and these are aligned. We are climbing, albeit slowly, but I wanna climb even slower just to avoid getting a huge problem with the pressurization. Let's have a look here. It is increasing, albeit slowly. Preparing a lunch. Nobody has, as of yet at least, passed out, so that's a good sign. We're not gonna have to change the altimeter setting, at least not as of now, since we're gonna be below 18,000, right? can switch actually back to the one we're going to. Let's see if we're picking it up just yet. We're still not picking anything up, so we're still up, or over 40 nautical miles away from it. So that's a bit of a bummer. I'm gonna check if we have anything else here on our route that we could use to, like ADF or something that we could. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing.
Gentlemen, we have chicken salad sandwiches.
Give us some
Here
sandwiches.
you go, sir.
Okay, let me see. Maybe if I can do the second one. I'm gonna switch that one. Can we see if we're...
Got it.
we're flying a bit off.
There you go.
Now that's interesting. We're basically... Okay, now that one is aligned. I guess there's a bit of a drift, right? Technically I don't mind it. I mean, it makes sense, right? But I always forget about it when I have the drift, so that's why I've just accepted. I'll press D to realign. It's a bit of cheating, to be honest, but yeah, the best we can do. Let me see, the turbochargers, when do you want to go with those? That's going to be our next question. So let me see here, turbo. Sorry, supercharger. Turbo is something else. Okay, so we can produce very efficiently at higher altitudes. I just want to know the practicalities of let me see. Superchargers, they should be low at the beginning, too high. Supercharge too high below 1200 RPMs. I don't feel like we're even close to that. And now we can see that we've gotten back on the localizers. We can actually see it now, so that's good. I think we're flying relatively stable. And we can even see how far away it is, 51 nautical miles the DME is showing us. Oh no, sorry, this is the ground tests, but we want to keep the supercharger and climbing, shift a supercharger to high blower at appropriate altitude. But the question is, what is an appropriate? I think we're kind of at that level that we should do it. I'm a bit worried, but it should be fine. Okay, so partially closed throttle to avoid. Okay, and then we want to decrease RPMs to around 18,000. Something like that should work. Set mixture to control to auto rich. We have it on auto rich. Okay, we're putting the superchargers into use. Okay, let me see here. Hold propeller governor switch to increase to obtain desired RPMs. That's gonna be about 2,200, give or take, right? Okay, now we're using the superchargers. So it wasn't more difficult than that, but yeah. I guess some timing was... let me see here. Carburetor air, it's getting pretty cold. Anything we need to close? The cold flaps maybe, right? Maybe those are a bit too open. I can close them a bit more. And let me just have a look, yeah, because the pressure is fine. Seeing some fluctuations. These cyclic head temps are looking pretty damn low. This is emergency shut off. Aren't these too low? Oh, sorry. Now we can. Yeah, that's why. Okay, so we have to kind of go through all of them. But okay, now it's looking a bit better. Anything else that's looking off? I think these are increasing now. The carburetor. Let's shut a bit more for now. Okay, still 40 nautical miles. So far, so good though. And this is the nicest kind of views we're gonna get during this career mode from west coast to east coast. I mean, we'll continue after that, but I mean, the true Earth is the best photoreal you're gonna get in P3D. We'll have photoreal for the full flight, but it's not gonna be as pretty, unfortunately. Because a lot of it is some I've bought, but a lot of it is self-made ortho, where I wanted to cut down a bit on the gigabytes, so I went for very low zoom levels. We're still climbing, albeit slowly, and the main question I have now is how are we looking in terms of cabin pressurization? Passengers are eating lunch, and it's looking fine. I'm wondering if we want to push it up a bit more. $5,500 maybe? Guess we don't want to keep too much of a difference, right? And what's the 300 feet? Yeah, you can do above 6,000, so here somewhere. That should be pretty okay, right? Let me check this cabin though. Because that's what I'm wondering. Engineer. We're still heading in the right direction, right? Maybe we could go a bit to the right. Let me see if we are turning correct.
We now reached the cruising altitude. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Well, we're not really at our cruising altitude, but I guess the main thing I'm wondering about is do we want to use these for the cabin? Because these superchargers inlet, right? They should help. Let me see if we can see this cabin. Maybe they have like a section on that. Not too much info. I guess we'll learn as we go. Cabin temperature is looking pretty okay though. Let's have a look though if that starts increasing for some reason. We have these all on, we have these open. I'm wondering if the superchargers are only kind of needed when you're a bit higher in terms of altitude. Maybe that's the thing. That they kind of support the normal coolers or heaters. Let me have a look here at the... Here's a pretty okay one. Maybe this one is nicer actually. Let's do this. Then we're gonna start climbing a bit again. I think we have solved the pressurization, so we shouldn't have issues with that. At least not for the time being. Question is though, do we have anything to ensure that we can maintain an altitude, or do we just have to kind of switch this? Something reasonable, I guess. Switch it. But okay, so far so good. 23 nautical miles. After that, and this is where the annoying part when we don't have, because we only have 70 nautical miles to the airport after this, but I'm not certain about the, let's say the surrounding area. Last time I flew to Reno, I remember it was pretty hilly, a lot of mountains and stuff. So the risk is if we start descending too soon, we'll end up hitting something that we shouldn't. In terms of our runway that we're supposed to land at, it's 17 right. And we have mountain tops of 8,000, 8,200. We should be at 8,000 when we start our approach. 17 right is actually the approach from the north to the south, right? Because 18 is true south, I guess. Whilst 360 is when you're going north. So yeah, let's see. I can actually show you guys since we have some time. I'll show it on my charts folder where I've saved some of these. You'll see here 17 right. So you can see here the mountain tops, right? I think we can descend to 10,000, but we gotta be a bit careful. I mean, look at this. We have a 9,200. This one wants to start at 8,600. Some of these ones start a bit lower. I think we can maybe aim for those. The question is though, how do we fly this without the GPS? And in these cases it would have been helpful to get vectored, right? Or to be vectored. But we'll do our best. Do we have any minimums that we can put, or are we just kind of calculating that ourselves? I'm gonna assume we calculate that ourselves. What we can think about though is our final VOR. And funnily enough, it's not the Reno one actually, it's a bit northeast of Reno. The question is if it would be best to kind of go, once we're at the airport, then try to fly outbound from that until we're about 14 nautical miles and at 8,000 feet. Maybe something like that could work. I don't think we're gonna make 17,000 to be honest. Let's see if we can put this to lean. Oh, yeah, we don't want to do that. Gotta be careful. Better to move like this and do it properly. Yeah, that's not good for the engines. Did I hurt them now? They do appear to be healthy, so that's fine. I think 29 was the manifold we wanted to keep at cruise. I guess we can continue climbing for the time being. I'm just worried that, or in terms of the topography, what's based on, and this is actually a pretty cool feature with little nav map, is that you can see kind of the altitude. You can see it here in the box, right? So it's saying legal safe altitude. So it's basically, we're gonna have to be at around 11,500 for a lot of the way. The airfield's altitude is at 4,400, so pretty high. But okay, so we gotta be 11,500. Yeah, that makes sense. So we can't descend too low. Something to keep in mind. And are we a bit off now from the glide path? It does look like we have maybe gone too much to the left of it or to the right of it. Even though this is still decreasing, so that's good, but we should see an airfield. And that's the airfield. So yeah, you can see we're quite a bit to the left of it. So in order to compensate for that fact, let's turn... Actually, let's not turn this one. We're gonna need to turn it to... let's check little nav map suggestions. 31. So we can keep that at 31. But I'm gonna need to turn this one quite a bit to the right. And what we'll do is switch to the next waypoint. And actually this is a vortac. It's a high one, so I'm not sure if we're gonna see a localizer on it. The range is pretty damn good, 130 nautical miles. It's 1179. I'm gonna do it on our second one. Not sure if we're gonna get a localizer. We can try, of course, but yeah, not sure. So 1179. And we can see the miles, so that's a good sign. But yeah, here's the interesting fact. This one is not showing any glide slope. This one is showing like that we are picking something up, so I'm not certain which one to follow, but I'm gonna assume there is not any sort of sorry, not glide slope, any sort of localizer to follow. So we are gonna... Now where is that airport that we passed? Or are passing? Okay, we're kind of flying above it now. Okay, so let's turn towards 3-1. We'll do 4-0 first. We're almost at 15,000. To be honest, I think the time has come to start descending. We don't need to descend a lot, but a bit. But look at these mountains, though. This is some beautiful views. The big benefit of flying here in Orbex, California. Maybe a bit red. That's the criticism I've heard from some people, but if you don't consider that, it does look pretty good. Okay, the passengers are still eating lunch. We've been flying for 34 minutes. I'm gonna quickly check if we have anything about descent. What about... Okay, so if we're gonna descend back, we'll need to... think we can keep it at above 5,000, but then we don't wanna adjust the cabin pressurization yet. We'll adjust it once we get to 10,000, then we'll start bringing it down to 0. We'll also turn a bit more 3-1, right? That's gonna be our heading. So let's start putting that there, and then let me see. I'm gonna close flight sim dispatch. Then we're just gonna have a quick look. So that's the Lake Tahoe, I think it's called. Isn't that the lake that features in that Zodiac Killer movie? Could be, right? Interesting nevertheless. But yeah, Lake Tahoe we have there. We're gonna continue just kind of north of it. So just behind, I guess, these mountains here, we should get into a bit of a valley where we then have Reno. But we'll know soon enough. And I think, okay, now we're maintaining altitude. Good to see though that we are able to do that. I'm gonna do 10%, and let's see how quickly we can. We don't want to descend too fast. You kind of want to plan ahead with these old birds. I never do that though. I think we've maybe already started descending a bit too late, but let's see. We can only go to 11,500 though, I just realized. So yeah, let's keep that in mind. I'm gonna quickly check the weather again in Reno. No clouds. 150 at 8. We're now clearing up lunch, so that's a good sign. We are descending maybe a bit slower than we need. We can do 12, I think. Just need to keep an eye on the speed. Once we get to 11,500, I do think we can... let's actually go a bit further, because I think we want to really just skim the northern end here. So I'm gonna turn, maybe the wind is affecting us. I didn't check windy, so it could be that we're getting a bit of wind. Haven't heard anything from our navigator though. I think he's supposed to talk to us about the wind, but so far nothing. Quiet as they come. I'm gonna throttle back tiny amounts. And then what I'll also do is we are picking up, so we can't descend too fast before we start really going fast in terms of our knots. We can't descend too much either, because then we're gonna hit the mountains. So it's a bit of a tricky game we're playing here. Okay, we want to turn a bit more, I think. 24 I think should be good. These are the mountaintops I'm a bit worried about. And imagine if we were flying this route without without having the visual kind of clearance, or let's not say clearance, but the kind of, I guess, visibility that we have now. Now we can kind of plan ahead, right? Always consider the mountaintops, etc. But if we couldn't, that would make it a bit more difficult. Okay, let's see. Cabin altitude is... do we have this decreasing? Okay, we can keep it a bit higher, I guess. We can keep it at 240. Now we should have a decreasing pressurization, yeah. That's good. The risk is of course if you don't decrease it, is then you will have a blowout when you open the door on the ground. And there we have those beautiful radial engines. Yeah, just look at these views. True Earth is the reason why it's the best is because it's very crisp, but also in the sense that it actually looks good down low, in the sense that you have trees, you have buildings, it's pretty neatly placed, etc. The closest I've seen is, if we're not looking through Earth, is well, I guess the Orbix regions are good, but they're land class with some photoreal, but I think it's living airports. I have there Arizona. That one is pretty good as well. I'm thinking of getting their other ones, but they haven't had a sale, so far I've not been too intrigued. But I'm gonna assume it will eventually be a sale, hopefully. I think at least if you're gonna pull your product, you should have a sale, and I'm not hoping they'll pull their products, but let's see. I think Mega Scenery has a pretty good sale now, so I'm thinking of getting some of their photoreal. It's like €2 for one state in the US, so pretty decent. And here you can see kind of the big change in the color. You can really see it here because we're now getting into, I think this is photo scenery from Mega Scenery Earth. So that's it's a bit lighter, while the True Earth one is a bit more red. I guess it depends on when you've taken the pictures, right? If you get it more red or not. But interesting nevertheless. Okay, we'll trim down a bit more. Still cleaning up the lunch. We're only 28 packs. Now the lunch cleaning has stopped, so they were very efficient. We are descending, but very slowly, to be honest. I'm gonna throttle down even more. I think one thing we can do is go back to auto rich, even though that's going to increase the fuel flow, so at least we have one less thing to worry about. Talking about fuel though, what's the situation in that regard? I think we should be able to see it though. It would be the flight engineer. Let's have a look here. Fuel. So number 1 and 2, there's some discrepancy. 4 and 3 same. Do wonder why that is. They do look to be at the same setting. Interesting though how we have a throttle lever lock. I didn't know that. I don't complain though. Very nice. Let's see, can we get this lower? 5,100, let's do that. Yeah, we can't go very much lower than what we're doing now. I'm gonna turn one back as well, to 6 maybe. But yeah, basically, and I don't know where I know where we're at because I can visually see it, but the key will be to make sure that we see the runway, and then we can kind of plan for the. Is it 16 or 17? But okay, maybe it's changed. But we're doing the 17 right approach. We can actually already. I don't think we need to have both the VORs. Let me see. Do we have 2 DMEs or do we only have 1? If we only have 1. Very interesting actually. If we only have 1, the question is, should we switch over which nav radio? I think we'll switch over the second one, so we can keep the DME for the Vortakan or whatever it was. So we're switching that one now over to 1110.9. 1110.9. That's going to be a 167 course. Maybe that's why it's showing such a weird magnetic bearing, right? Okay, 167. I'm not. Oh, blue. Is it because we're flying up above an airport, or? Not certain actually. Okay, we're still at 12,000. We just need to clear this little mountain range, and we should be fine. Though I'm worried now that we might be descending a bit too fast. I'm gonna stop our descent just a tiny bit. Try to level us off. There's been no clouds or anything, so that's. We do have a bit of DC-6s here somewhere. Maybe there or at the Reno airport. I'm gonna extend the landing lights already and the nose lights. It's a bit early, but it's to kind of help a bit with my workload. Since I'm doing this without the help of my co-pilots. And it's mainly just to have a bit more stuff to do. Makes it a bit more fun. Okay, we don't want to go below 11,000, so I'm gonna change a bit the autopilot elevator control. And there we have the runway, so we're actually coming in a bit off. We should be coming in to the south of it. So I think what we need to do is actually change a bit. Because basically I think the best way to do this is to go across and then to the left and start descending towards 8,000 and then come in for the final approach. Not sure if we want to go all the way though to the Vortex itself, because you get into the hilly terrain. Maybe want to something in flying a bit parallel with the runway and then come back in like that, something along those lines. Okay, we can just continue descending now. So that's positive. I think it's also time we stopped using the superchargers, so I'm gonna close the inlets and I'm gonna increase the manifold pressure a bit because we're gonna see a bit of a drop. But that's fine. We can actually pull them back a bit. We do want to slow down, right? As a next step, I think we're gonna descend a bit further. Also gonna have us turn a bit more to the right with the autopilot. I'll try to use the autopilot for as long as possible, just because it's gonna be more smoother flying than if I'm trying. The problem is since I'm jumping around, I lose the visual cues. The only sad part is that, you know, there's some autogen, but it's not as good as with True Earth. The photo reel itself, though, is pretty decent, not gonna lie. Definitely better than my own creations in that regard. I think we can very shortly... Let's see how far we will go before we switch over to the ILS. Starting to think maybe it's time to do it already. We can just turn here. We're not gonna have an ATC, right? So maybe we can do it. Let's do 1110.9. we're gonna put the same magnetic. So 167. You can see we're kind of just above it. Interestingly enough though, they are... you can choose between ADF or... Not sure why they are... Here we have the alternate static. Now here we have the nav, in case you want to hear them, right? Same with DME. Maybe we're just a bit too high in order to pick it up. Okay, we're gonna soon be up below 10,000, so what we can do is actually start decreasing the cabin altitude to now that's a good question. What would you want to decrease it to if we're gonna land at 4,000? Maybe we can do 4,000 then, right? That shouldn't be a problem. So 4,300. That should be fine. Now the question is, do we want to open the cowl flaps maybe a tiny bit? Don't think you really need it though on descent. And let's see, now we're getting the glide slope and localizer signals. That's nice. And this is the PAC-SIM version of Reno, in case you are wondering. Okay, and we are gonna start turning north. Sorry, north, not south. So what I'm wondering is maybe that would be the best. Yeah, let's turn like that. We're still descending, well now we're below 10,000 feet, so that's good. Gonna add a bit of RPMs. Nothing crazy though. And I'm trying to think what would be the best to fly. 320 maybe? Thinking 167. Maybe something along these lines. Maybe we turned even a bit too much. Something like this should be good enough. And we don't want to go below 8,000 though, so I'm gonna stop us from descending lower. Let me see. Luckily we don't have a VIP on board. It says here that then it's extra pressure. Let me see, what are they saying? As required, so okay, the RPMs, etc. We can set that kind of by our own liking. 25% they want the cowl flap, so minimum drag, which is what we have. For takeoff it should be 50%, yeah, so that was my mistake when I didn't do that. CHT should be around 204, so what's the cylindrical head temp? We can check that here. Maybe it's a bit low. What I'm wondering is the flaps though. What are those the limitations? Come on, come on. Okay, we're gonna start turning left pretty shortly, right? We're now almost 16 and we don't want to end up in the hills. But I just quickly want to see if I can find the info on the flaps. Here we have the gear and flaps up, stalling. Okay, that's the stalling speed. I would want to know like the maximum when you can drop them. $146. Yes, we need to get lots a lot lower. Oh, sorry, now I'm turning the wrong way again. Not thinking straight. We'll turn left. Hopefully enough. Don't think we're gonna go lower than this, so we can actually raise the pitch just tiny amounts. 7. Okay, we'll try to get on the glide slope and low glider.
Captain should raise our power or lower the RPM.
Or lower the RPMs. Okay, maybe that's the... So if you raise the manifold pressure but lower the... I guess that makes sense, right? You want to be in the green band. Okay, I want to continue descending though, to be fair. Okay, let's see, 1, 6, 7, something like that, right? So let's do it 1 9er. I think we can lower it more actually. Okay, not too much more though. Funnily enough though, we're not losing we're losing speed, but it's very slow. Now we need to descend or turn more. Oh, sorry, maybe me who turned a bit too soon, too fast. 19 right. Okay, we want to descend or keep on descending. Because we're already at the glide slope. Let's see if he complains again when I lower the... Yeah, I need to plan these a bit better, to be honest. I'm thinking it's better if we do one more a merry-go-around. We can just do it here on the spot, because we need to lower our airspeed. So we can't drop the flaps until we're at 146. And then 140 we can... well, that's also when we can extend the landing gear. So we need to plan ahead. Sorry, now I'm turning wrongly. So we're just doing a quick circle. Running out of my water bottle as well. Not the best. But yeah, this would have been easier if we were being vectored. The problem is, of course, that even if we're vectored, we might not anyway be able to slow down quickly enough, because they're probably vectoring you as, or they would consider you a kind of a jet aircraft. Okay, we can continue to turn. Yeah, we're still higher than we should be. Not by a lot though, but we're still faster than we should be at 160. Okay, let's do 140. So yeah, we're just kind of trying to trade, or yeah, trade I guess time for lower speed. Funny part is though we need to I guess not descend as much in order to lower the speed to 146. I'm gonna try to decrease, sorry, not increase, to decrease the RPMs just a tiny amount more. The hydraulic pumps aren't doing too well. Okay, we're about 50 nautical miles from the airport. I think we can maintain this. This should be fine. Maybe we can actually start adding some flaps and gears. Might be a bit soon, but I mean, look at the way they affected our speed. So maybe, you know, maybe it was worth it. Hopefully they didn't take too much damage. And I think we can remove the autopilot. They're all off now. Okay, let's try to, we'll lower the flaps as much as possible and try to get on the glide slope. So yeah, almost good enough. Still need to work a bit on how to slow the aircraft down on approach, but we'll get there eventually. And let's trim this bird. I think we're descending at a pretty okay pace. Engine appears to be healthy, so at least we're not seeing any issue in that regard. We have look at that, we forgot the auxiliary pump on. That's a bummer. That should only be on during landing and takeoff, so yeah, it's gonna take some time to get used to all these quirks. But I find the easiest way to do it is to just kind of go out and fly like this, and then you'll learn. The autogen is pretty okay here. It might be actually Living Airport's autogen. Potentially also PacSim's own autogen. I just realized also I never changed the no smoking or seatbelts. Jesus. Okay, I have some work to do, let's put it that way. Okay, it's looking okay. The one thing I need to realize is how to shut down the engines. There must be some explanation for how to do that. Somewhere at least, I would hope. Okay, we're still a bit high. I think though it's fine in terms of the vertical speed. We are descending. We don't have to be as stable on approach. I mean, we're in the 1950s. It's not as harsh, the rules. So I guess that's one benefit. Let's use our razor sharp vision and have a look. Can we see any aircraft? Very few. There might not be any actually at this airport. That's gonna be a bit of a bummer. Need to have a look at that at some point. Maybe add a few more routes. Gonna increase the RPMs. The reason I think you want to keep the RPMs relatively high is because if you need to do a go around, it's gonna be quite important. Okay, we're soon below 6,000. We need to descend 1,500 in a very short time span. So let's see how that's gonna go. Well, another thing to note is also kind of the difference in length between the wheels in the back and the front, the nose wheel. So it's a bit hard, or at least I found it a bit hard to land properly. Feels like it's very easy to land, like with the Stratocruiser, with the nose first. I think with the Stratocruiser that was fairly common, but yeah, I don't think with the Constellation you're supposed to do that. So just something to keep in mind. We have a lot of runway though here, or I would assume quite a bit more runway than you would have had in actual life if you flew to Reno during these days in the 1950s. It's probably a much bigger city now also than compared to before. Based on the buildings, I'm guessing casinos is the bread and butter of the city, at least to a large extent. Okay, looking okay-ish. We're almost stable. We are below 5,000 feet now. Trimming it out. Trimming it out, and let's see how this is gonna go. Still wanna descend a bit. I actually would prefer to be a bit below the glide slope, so then I can adjust that at the end. And 500 feet is almost minimums, so I guess we can call out minimums at this point. It's actually only about 100 or 200 actually above. So I guess at 200 we should call it out technically. Minimums, continue. Okay, gonna trim it a bit. 100 feet.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay.
Excellent landing, Captain.
Okay, we don't wanna slow down too much with these engines. Oh, yeah, not that one. Gonna increase the RPM to the fullest. Okay, let's brake. Let's let it recover a bit, the brake pressure. And we'll brake a bit more. Listen to that sound, squeaking or squealing brakes. Let's bring back up the flaps. We'll disengage the landing lights and the strobe lights. The only question I have now is how do you shut it all down?
Hello from the flight deck. We're now taxiing back to the terminal. Please remain in your seats with your seatbelts fastened until the aircraft has come to a complete stop.
Because I want to shut it down so you can see what feedback I got. The only thing we won't be able to do is the replay. And the reason why is because for some reason it doesn't work with A2A. Like it will kind of use your like the data as it doesn't know like it's a replay basically. I think that's the main problem. Or I can actually Google that, but my feeling is it doesn't. A2A P3D replay. I can't find any information, so I'm not gonna risk it, unfortunately. But at least they clapped, so we're gonna assume it was an okay, fairly okay landing at least. Do we have any aircraft here, or is it? Oh, we have the choppers, but they're a bit more modern. But so far I haven't seen a single aircraft, so my guess or my bet is gonna be that there is none. Okay, let's brake a bit. I don't want us to go too fast. No, there it is. There we have a United DC-6, or is it DC-4? DC-6 probably, right? Potentially a DC-4. We'll taxi here and then we're gonna find out how to shut this bird down. Somewhat properly at least. Let's turn on this one just for the lols. We're just gonna taxi like this. And let me see if we can stop here. Parking brake set, good. Okay, and now I want to see how to I'm gonna quickly check. I'm gonna pause quickly just so I can find out how to shut this down properly. So 1 sec, be right back. Okay, I was able to find it, so we're back pretty quickly. The way we'll do it is to move the brake lever to emergency. So we're doing that. And this one should be increasing to around 1,700. Open coal flaps. And we want to idle the engines at 600 to 800 RPMs. So I'm going to start by just opening the coal flaps completely. Or is this some emergency checklist that I found? No, it doesn't say. Okay, what do we want these? These we want to go to below 300 Fahrenheit. This is in Celsius, right? Okay, so you want to decrease the RPMs. Can we even do that? Doesn't seem like it's letting me decrease it further. Or maybe the problem is that I need to lower the to around 800. Something like this. And you want to do this to get the temp below. That looks reasonable. And we're gonna cut off the fuel, and then we should actually have increased it before we cut it, because you want to get rid of or you want to obtain optimum scavenging of engine oil, and yeah, and then you pull the mixture control to off. Oh well, you live and you learn, right? Move individual and master ignition switches to off. So we'll do that. Cabin is cold. Oh, I know why. Let's get the ground blower into action. We can also shut the generators, I think. Didn't think about that. Probably should have connected the GPU first. Yeah, let's turn those off. Let's see if we need to do anything in terms of deboarding. Let me see. There must be some input on how to get this to work. Let's see if we have a deboarding. Nothing. AcuSim, here we go. Okay, stay. Very interesting, but I don't want to know the AcuSim information. What I want to see is the... Let's actually see if we have anything now in... Okay, so here we have, we need to get the passengers unloaded. Okay, so that's the thing we're trying to aim for now. You are an average pilot. Such a brutal way to... Yeah, okay. Maybe the thing is we need to get things connected to us. So we can remove the beacon, the nose lights. Do you want to open the doors, maybe? Would be good if they had a bit more information. I'm gonna check quickly. Maybe we'll have... if I go to the A2A folder, I check the... Unfortunately, it's only this manual. It's a very good manual though, in the sense that it has kind of everything. Add and remove passengers. How does that work? Let's see if I open the doors. Okay, it worked. Good. So let's see. Ace that landing. That's nice. Oh no. But I don't want it to be on board as of now. What we are gonna do is we're gonna do cold dark, because we're gonna shut everything down before we do our next flight. Sorry about that, Catherine Hepburn. But yeah, so let's see. Could we see what the landing rate was? Doesn't look that way, but oh well. Can't get it all. We can also see here on the engines, they are all looking excellent, so we should be fine. Let's hope we don't get any engine troubles, but we'll continue to fly and see what happens. Of course, I'm more fine with doing an airport or an alternate landing at an alternate airport if we have a payware or a nice freeware option rather than having to land at the default P3D ones. But hopefully we don't end up with that. But let's see. But yeah, with that said, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Maybe showed you a bit of the quirks and how to kind of use the system. Still need to check if that's how you just do a deboarding, but yeah, I guess it worked. But yeah, with that said, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below, and otherwise, until next time, bye bye.